right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of That's a Wrap. We had a week off due to some difficulties behind the scenes.
Yes. Yeah.
But no worries. We are back, and today our main topic is going to be...
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, my co-host here that I forgot to introduce.
Yes, my name is Anthony Gentry.
I am Austin Jameson. Today I am the researcher for our show. If you're new, what we do basically is we have one person research the movie, one person just watches it and gives their unfiltered opinion, and we create that dynamic. So, to begin, we're not going to go straight into Ghostbusters. We got a couple things in the movie world and just the MCU cinematic world.
Yeah. I feel like we talk about MCU every week.
Yeah, well, we're going to rebrand.
I mean, it's a big thing, yeah.
All right. Well, the first thing we can talk about is Spider-Man, and tickets are available.
Yes. Well, I mean, are they available?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or I don't know if amazing is the word. Just like it.
It's astonishing, really.
Yeah.
I was up at midnight because I knew it was going to be crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and it was harder to get this than Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
When Endgame
definitely.
came out, I just woke up in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and I got my tickets right away.
Yeah.
Here, oh my god, it was so hard to get tickets, and then I finally got some.
Mm-hmm.
There were some really good seats too, but all the sites crashed immediately. I got mine, I think at 1:30 a.m. And then it wasn't even confirmed. I got my tickets, and then they confirmed it 20 minutes later.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely it was a rush.
It was.
Coming from the point or the perspective of somebody who can see the statistics of our how many seats are sold out, and we can see the whole sales per day in advance. It's sold out practically.
Yeah.
Thursday night we have, or at my theater we have around 5 or 6 showings.
Mm-hmm.
Each one is nearing capacity. You have to sit in the front row or the row behind that.
Yeah, and those are not good rows.
Our biggest theater is 167 seats. And currently, the last time I checked, which was yesterday, probably around 8 p.m., 128 of those were sold.
Wow.
So, and that's opening night. Friday has similar numbers, but more showtime, so it's more spread out.
Yeah.
But for my tickets, whenever I got them for a Thursday night preview. And it was extremely stressful because I'd started looking at it around 9 a.m. before I had to head my 10 a.m. classes.
Yeah.
And it worked, and I was I checked in with my girlfriend and a few friends of mine, one of them who's sitting here. You're not my girlfriend, just for context.
Yeah.
But the website went down right before, right when everybody was yeah, we're able to do it. Or at least me and Josie, our tickets that we got, it went down right there.
Yeah.
And so it was me in the middle of both of my classes back to back, sitting there on my phone, refreshing, seeing if it worked. I had it up on my Chromebook as well, reloading it over and over again.
Yeah, and I don't have my work schedule out yet, so I have no idea.
Well, how many tickets do you own, Anthony? How many times do you plan on seeing Spider-Man right now?
Okay, so I got 2 tickets for Thursday night, and then 1 ticket for Friday. He had 3, which that's just because I don't know if I work one of those days.
I feel like you're going to end up seeing
it 5 times I'm going to end up seeing it 5 times anyway.
Most movies, you just kind of you text me and usually 12 a.m. You're hey, I'm going to go. I'm seeing Ghostbusters again tomorrow at 6:30. You want to come?
Well, I only saw Ghostbusters once.
Fair enough. How many times? Did you see House of Gucci once?
Only once, yeah.
What recently? I guess it was Eternals. I know you saw it twice.
Yeah, I saw Eternals twice.
Did you see Clifford twice?
I did not see Clifford twice.
Coward.
We are moving on from Clifford. Never again.
I'm not gonna let that.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Listen in next semester.
No. But yeah, we hope everyone who wanted a ticket was able to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the tickets I got were in actually really good seats. Mm-hmm. One of them was for the very first showing on Thursday, and I got the best seat in the house. Mm-hmm. And then I also have Regal Unlimited, so I didn't pay for all these tickets.
Nice.
And
didn't you get ones in Florence or something?
Yeah, so that was the one. That was the Thursday.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then for Friday, I also got the 3 o'clock or 3:20, and that was also the best seat available too.
Fair enough.
And yeah, so I think just everyone wanted it, and so it crashed, but no one got anything.
Definitely. One of the statistics, I don't have it written down, but the previous post-COVID record holder for tickets sold in 24 hours was like a tie between Black Widow and Eternals, both with around like 150,000 tickets.
Yes, I saw that.
In 24 hours. Spider-Man in 24 hours sold 3 million tickets.
Yes, it's already made $30 million.
It's insane.
Yeah.
If there is any movie that's gonna bust theaters back into like the state that it was before, this is what we're looking at.
And a lot of it is predicated on something that is not even confirmed for the movie, which is all the Spider-Man coming.
Correct. Have you seen?
I know what you're talking about.
The Spider-Man. It's like, who else could it be?
Yeah, who else could it be?
Two of my best friends here to announce this with me,
which pretty much confirms it.
Yeah,
but
they're trolling us now, which I think it's funny.
I think it is funny. What's next? I know we have a few things on the docket.
We can talk about on the topic of MCU. We can talk about Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yes,
which I'm really, really enjoying.
I do. Yeah, it's such a nice just change of pace of everything else.
Yeah,
where like this is just low key, not low key,
funny. But hilarious.
Thank you. And it's just everything else is like end of the world, high stakes, and this is like, man, Hawkeye just needs a break. Like he's so tired.
I love the dynamics between him and Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I
love like all of the characters are doing an amazing job. I love the pizza dog. I love like the action scenes have been awesome. One of my favorite things about like Hawkeye right now is that it's like you said, it's another down to like Earth, literally MCU like project, and it's not like, at least with Falcon and Winter Soldier, you had these like really dark themes and like everything felt, it was supposed to be like a Winter Soldier homage kind of thing.
Yeah. With
this, it's like it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
It's happy.
I love it when something is like set around Christmas time. It's just so nice and like warm and cozy.
Yeah.
And this is what that is. To be fair, we aren't going to spoilers. I haven't even seen the third episode yet.
Yeah, it came out today.
I have not had time. I'm hoping, I don't know if like this happens in the third episode, that Kate's mom, who's played by Vera Farmiga, gets a little more to do.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because like she's a really good actress, and just putting her in like the mom role, who doesn't know that the new boyfriend is shady.
Yeah,
that's like very stereotypical, and I hope they just give her more to do.
My guess right now, and this would have been my guess from the first episode, so again, no spoilers, but I feel like I would say she might be like
I think she's in on it.
Yeah. I think she might be playing dumb, and I think that'd be cool to develop.
Yeah, that's one of my hopes, is that she is in on it, because that would just, for one, just give her more to do, but add more to like Kate and like her arc.
It's all been like a really good, like healthy experience from all of it, and I very much look forward to finishing it. I believe it's 6 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
So as of today, we're halfway through, which is shocking.
I think they ended on December 22nd. Because I was looking at that. Yeah, so 3 days before Christmas.
Dang, I don't want it to go. I think I'm not in the position to say yet, because at the time, Falcon and Winter Soldier was my favorite in the first like 2-3 episodes. But then 4 and 5, and they keep introducing more things, and 6 ends like by face planning.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't do it. It doesn't look like it will.
I think
I have some very big things I'm excited for that I can't talk about.
Oh yeah, I've heard about some things.
Yes.
About. I won't say anything.
Extremely excited.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is my favorite so far. Just because Loki was amazing for me.
I would say is my favorite until the show finishes and I make that decision.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the show to finish. But I love this. I love the LARP, just like subplot where he was like, "Hey, I love the I fought Thanos," and he was like, "Just give me the thing." It's like, "Just let me beat you, please. This is my thing."
Yeah. I mean, it's all very good themes. I like well, I don't know if it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. I wouldn't talk about it.
I don't think it's a spoiler because they talked about it before.
Do you think so?
Yeah. So it's basically Hawkeye now has a hearing aid just because of everything they go through.
Which like you see it, you're like, what? Like, and then.
They have a funny gag with that. It's like, oh, why do you have that? And it just cuts to every time
like
something very loud happens. Yeah, he like smashes through glass
the
and
Avengers compound literally like
blows up
on him.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? That does make sense that he would need a hearing aid.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
let's go ahead. I feel like the more fun discussion will be, I think you know. So let's talk about House of Gucci first.
House of Gucci.
I did not watch the whole thing. I only watched. It's a 2.5 hour movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably missed around the first hour.
And that was one of the two most important, not important, but most interesting aspects of the movie for me. For those who don't know, it is based on a true story. It's about these two people. One of them is a Gucci. I completely forgot his name. He's played by
Maurizio
Adam Driver.
Or something?
Yeah, Maurizio. I just keep thinking Mario when they say it.
Italian.
But Maurizio, and he gets engaged and eventually marries this woman named Patrizia, who's played by Lady Gaga. And at first they leave like the Gucci family because they don't like care about it. Gucci's don't really care about them. And then eventually something happens that causes them to come back into the family and just inherit like the throne, I guess, because they are an empire. And Patrizia just getting greedy with it and wanting to take control.
Yeah.
And that's the most interesting aspect of the movie. And then the second act comes, and they show how the marriage starts out loving and how it transforms into a loveless marriage.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes like a soap opera.
It's weird. I compared it when I saw it to a like stage play. Like it feels like it would be something where you just see like four people at a table, like 12 Angry Men style, where it's like a lot of dialogue, not a lot of like actual things happening, but it's mostly just the character dynamics.
Yeah, like a lot and not a lot happened at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they just stretched out this very just not uninteresting, but less interesting than everything else. Subplot of Patrizia and Maurizio not having a good relationship anymore, and then that becomes the sole like focus of the movie.
Right.
And the very end is so abrupt. It just ends. And I won't say much, but they market the whole movie on like greed, power, and murder. And the murder does not come in until the last 15 seconds. And it just comes out of nowhere. For me, like, that's one of my... I went in and just thought that would be, like, the big part of it.
Right.
I was so excited to see, like, who's going to murder the person and who is going to be murdered. And I thought that'd be, like, one of the big focuses of the movie that come maybe at the halfway point.
Yeah.
It comes at the very end, and it's so abrupt, and they're just like, yeah, this murder happens, the end.
It's definitely like a brick wall stuff.
Yeah, and I just wished they delved more into it. Like, made the second act, or I guess maybe the third act, more of that, instead of this relationship falling apart. Because although that is interesting, they stretched it out so much to the point where it did not become interesting.
They definitely, like, they stuffed a lot of content into this movie. And I didn't see an hour of it, and it felt like a full feature film.
Yeah, this was 2.5 hours. It did not have to be 2.5 hours.
No, most movies don't, but...
Yeah, so, I mean, it was disappointing, but there were some really good parts. I will say, Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, they are so good in this movie. I think
there's one actor you're forgetting about.
Oh, you're talking about Al Pacino.
No, not quite. I'm talking about...
Jeremy Irons.
Oh, almost. Jared Leto.
Jared.
He's in it.
That?
Believe it or not. You might not be able to tell because of his multiple layers of just like...
Fat suits.
I don't even know if you'd call it makeup. It's the art of makeup. But he is a completely different human being.
He plays this person named Paolo, who is just portrayed as an idiot.
Yeah, he becomes the Italian. He becomes an Italian, I guess.
It's me, Paolo.
He should have been Mario, honestly. Did he hear him?
I did.
I want to see Chris Pratt in that.
He did an interview. It sounded like he was joking, but yeah, he was like, you know what? I became Italian while making this movie.
I don't believe he was joking for a millisecond. Jared Leto is...
Well, he was like, I have fettuccine in my blood.
Like, you should come on the show. We respect you.
We do.
But he's insane.
He does have some interesting methods.
Have you seen all the stuff he did as Joker?
Yeah. It's not good stuff.
There's some bad things that I'm not going to mention on air, but like for one of the more like PG examples is that he never spoke to Will Smith.
I didn't even know that.
He never once talked to Will Smith outside of set. He would only talk to people, anybody on set. I don't know if he talked. This is Will Smith's quote, is that he would only talk to him as Deadshot between the words action and cut.
Wow.
He was completely isolated otherwise, and then
I did hear about the isolation, so yeah.
He is
he's a character in this movie.
I thought he had a cult. I don't know how he keeps up with it.
Oh yeah, he does.
And then he has Morbius coming up as well.
He does,
At least
yeah.
he looks like himself in Morbius.
And then he does become a giant bat. Oh, I hope he doesn't try to be a bat in real life.
Imagine. Oh my goodness. He just starts biting people's necks.
Someone wakes up and he's just like sucking their blood.
He would though. He honestly, I could see him like getting blood, like buying, like and drinking it.
Yeah,
that is right up his alley.
Like going to this like market
he goes to
and
a
like
blood drive and he's like,
oh no,
he slides some money on the table.
Well, I think like he'd buy like maybe pig's blood or something. Maybe not human blood.
I doubt it. This guy,
yeah,
he would go the distance. I feel.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know. I've not met him. I want to though. Come on the show if you want.
Who knows? He could be a nice guy.
He could be. He won't talk to us unless we're in character.
But yeah, he was a very interesting part of that movie.
Yeah.
A very unneeded part of that movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I give it maybe a 6 or a 5.
From what I saw of it, I'd probably give it like a 5.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend saw it, and I saw it like with her for the parts that I did. And the entire time she was crocheting. And she said it was a good crochet movie where it's like one of those like or multitask movies where you can like have it on and like stuff happens.
I can see that.
And then
I saw it with my girlfriend, and she like I'd be like, "Do you know what's going on?" She's like, "No, I'm not paying attention."
That's House of Gucci. See it if you want. I don't imagine it'll be in theaters that much longer.
No,
I'll probably jump on that sooner than later.
Poor Ridley Scott.
Something that will never be able to leave our memories. Not quite Ghostbusters yet, but we're going to talk about Home Sweet Home Alone.
This movie is garbage.
Yeah, the 14th installment in the Home. I don't know. That was an
exaggeration.
It's the 6th. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Too many.
I mean, everyone went in with thinking it would be trash. I went in with like not high hopes, but a good amount of hopes because I didn't hate the trailer.
Yeah.
And like they take the spirit of Home Alone and just trash it.
Yeah, they do.
I hate this movie, especially because they make the burglars the good guys.
Yep.
They don't want to go in and break in to the kid's house. The kid's name is Max. All they think Max stole this like precious like doll that they have that's worth $200,000.
Yeah.
It's not like they need it for greed or anything.
Yeah, they have to sell their house.
Yeah,
they're like
they both lost their jobs. They have to sell their house that their kids just like love so much. That have so many memories in it, and like their lives are over basically because like they can't find any work. They are poor. They're destitute. They have nowhere else to go, and they emphasize that so much.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So then when they like, okay, we have to get this doll back. Like this is our livelihood. It makes sense to want to go get it.
Right, and all they want to do from the beginning is ask for it.
Yeah.
The first interaction he has, or the father of that couple has, with the family that they're with, I believe, the character's name, or it's Max Mercer, with
Max
the Mercer family.
Yes.
Is like him walking up to them like about to leave for vacation, like they're going to Tokyo, like it's just stock Home Alone stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're all in a rush, and the guy's like calling him the cab driver. It's like, haha.
And the burglars are named Jeff and Pam.
Cool. And they just like completely shoot him down. The kid gets left home alone by a wonderful brand deal with BMW with their very wonderful sound-proof cars. He goes into a car to sleep because of.
That did not seem safe or anything.
No, not at all.
Also, the kid Max. He is not likable whatsoever. He is a awful human being.
He is a whole brat.
Yes. His introduction is Max and his mom driving home, and him saying, "Mommy." Also, he's British. they're British.
Sorry, British people. You're cool. I joke. That was a joke.
We love British people. We don't love this British kid.
Yes.
Actually, no. He was good in Jojo Rabbit. He was great in Jojo Rabbit.
It's just the script. It's
but,
the movie.
Yeah. So he's like, "Mommy, I have to go to the bathroom," and the mom is like, "No, like." We just have to go home. It's right there. I told you not to have 9 things of soda.
Yeah.
Like, I told you not to do that. Please, let's just go home. And you can hear the desperation in her voice, just of having to deal with this kid. And he's like, it's your fault for giving a 9-year-old soda. And she's like, I didn't give you the soda.
It's the mom.
And then, the mom sees the open house that Jeff and Pam have. So then they go there, and then. Like, she's like, just pretend we're gonna buy the house so you can go to the bathroom and then we can leave. So the kid's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the bathroom, and then Jeff is like in a closet, like, I think just getting out supplies for the open house.
Yeah.
And immediately the kid's like, you look like Frankenstein's monster. You suck.
About that.
You're stupidly tall.
He said you look like Frankenstein because that was the joke.
Yeah.
And then the dad's like, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. And they rail on the parents so much in this movie.
Yeah. And then the Jeff is getting out these like sodas for the open house people, and Max is like, can I have one? And Jeff, being a responsible person, saying, I don't know. It's really sugary. Just ask your mom first. Not saying no.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, maybe you should ask your mom before you do that. And then Max just goes like berserk, like, how dare you? I hate you. And he is just a little twerp.
Yeah. The plot of the movie is driven by that the dad finds a doll with like an upside down head. It's like really rare, and then it goes missing whenever he realizes that it's like $200,000. It could save him from selling his house, etc. And so, justifiably, he like goes to look for it. It's gone. He assumes the kid stole it, which he did. It's just so exhausting. Like,
yeah, and also Max like doesn't even like just make a mess of the house. He destroys the entire house.
And I also want to mention that, like, in the maybe 30 minutes of actual home aloneing that you get of, like, the traps and, like, the booby traps and all that, you only get... There's, like, 15 whole minutes dedicated to them breaking into the back of a house where they, like, try to climb over a wall, then they fall into a pool, and it's, like, all icy, and then they fall down gates and stuff.
Yeah. And Max is out for blood.
Yes.
And, like, the original Home Alone, like, Kevin, for one, he does not trash the house. All the trashing comes from the robbers.
Yeah.
The most he does is get some, like, feathers on the floor. He does tar the stairs, but you can clean that up. And then Max, he, like,
property damage.
He takes a saw. He, like, throws these weights on a treadmill, destroying the walls and the doors. Yep. He takes out the ceiling. He takes out the ceiling. But, yeah, he's out for blood.
Yeah.
Trying to kill these people.
On the note of the, like, 15-minute scene, I wanted to say that you spend all that time, like, them trying to break into the back, and it's, like, all funny and silly. It's, like, all icy. It's not his house. That's the joke at the end. It's, like, they walk into the wrong house.
Yeah.
And it's, like, why? Why? It's an hour-and-a-half movie. We do not have the time. I do not want to be watching this. I didn't watch it until he told me it was this bad, because I wanted to see for myself. It absolutely is. It is it might be the worst movie of the year.
Oh, yeah. For me, it is. Also, I mean, I haven't seen the Sia's movie, Music, and I hear that's awful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is so bad.
It's
and
rough.
One of the worst parts of it is that they get some really good comedians in here who know what they're doing, and they make some good jokes. And, like, I laughed a few times, but that made it worse.
I can't agree quite specifically. Everything was just, like, it felt like you put all the Home Alone movies into a, like, Google AI generator, and it spit out this.
Yeah. Well, just, like Jeff's whole obsession with the cloud.
Yes.
That kind of made me chuckle a little bit. And then, like... That's it. But it made it even worse because you see what could be there, and they just chose to not do it. They chose to be horrible.
really missed the mark.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't watch this movie.
Do not, please don't. Or actually do it. Like,
you have an hour and a half. You get to choose what you do with it.
Yeah.
But
get some friends, make fun of it.
If I could go back and stop myself from watching this film, I would.
Yeah. No, definitely.
All right. Now for the main event. We took a little bit to get here, but that is okay. We were supposed to. This was going to be last week's. Unfortunately, we had to. 2 episodes from now would have been House of Gucci. We had to scratch that, unfortunately. Yeah. But we
this
talked
week
about it
would have been Encanto. We're doing that next week.
So look forward to that. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. Initial impressions, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I do want to say right out the gates, the poll that we did of if I should watch Ghostbusters, the original 1984 Ghostbusters or not, came in handy. Because I did watch it. I watched it literally an hour before my showtime for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I finished it, and that is the best decision I could have made.
Oh, yeah.
This is a honorary sequel.
Yeah, this leans heavily into the first 2 Ghostbusters.
Correct.
I will say, I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2. For me, they are iconic films. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved the trailers of Afterlife going in, so I had really high expectations. I was so excited to see this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just felt that there was a lot there, and they just did not hit the mark fully.
Okay.
I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's bad. But I don't think it's great.
Interesting. Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Is at the foundation of it. I do want to... Let's start with the Ghostbusters themselves.
Yeah. Or should we talk about the plot first?
We
Give
can,
a brief
roughly.
overview. Yeah.
Go.
So it's about I guess we can say this. It's Egon's family from the first one. They go out into the country. I think it's Arkansas, and
sure.
They just basically inherit Egon's farm that he had for the past however many years.
He's a dirt farmer?
Yeah, he's the dirt farmer. I'm going to talk about that. And so then they inherit it, and then things start to happen, and Egon's grandchildren have to kind of step up, and they discover this world of ghosts and Ghostbusters, and they just have to become Ghostbusters and take down this threat.
Yeah. I'd say now to move on to kind of the cast, but focus on who are supposed to be who is our 4 Ghostbusters in this one. Well, just a note on that. I feel like my problem with it. I feel like this kind of gets into light spoilers. I should start checking the trailers before these is what I should do. Because there are 4 new people who reprise, or not reprise, obviously, who fill the role of the previous Ghostbusters. 2 of the obvious ones are the kids of Egon, or
grandchildren. Yes, they are Phoebe, who's McKenna Grace.
Yes,
and Trevor, who's Finn Wolfhard. And then the other 2 are Logan Kim as Podcast.
Yes,
and Celeste O'Connor as Lucky.
Okay, yeah. I didn't feel any connection between, honestly, it didn't feel like a team of 4.
No, it did not.
It felt like a tournament style, 2-2, and these people, but Podcast is never gonna interact with Lucky, and
Lucky especially.
Yeah,
she felt thrown in. She so her whole thing is that she works at this nearby diner, and Trevor sees her on the first day they're there, and it's I'm in love with you now.
Yep.
So now I have to be with you.
Yeah.
And because of that, he just spends time with her, and then she just gets thrown in, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be with you guys now." And then that's it.
Yeah,
there's no explanation for her coming in. She's just kind of there.
It definitely felt like a weak, getting the team together movie. Which
yeah.
I guess ultimately it's not really what they were going for, but Phoebe is the main main character in this movie.
Yeah, and McKenna Grace is so good in this movie.
Yeah, she did a really good job. Podcast is her sidekick.
I think he was all right.
I didn't like him,
Yeah.
which is weird because now we're having quite opposite opinions on everything. I didn't like him. He felt like the forced like gamer electronic character.
Yeah.
That, like Phoebe felt a lot more natural to the like position of like being techie and being good with like engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, Phoebe was really the only one I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought podcast wasn't horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I got tired of like his bits and like,
Yeah, I feel like the writing in this is not that strong because, like with podcast,
mm-hmm.
every person who encounters him is, "Why's your name Podcast?" "Oh, well, I have a podcast."
Yeah.
And that's every interaction he has. And like with the dirt farmer, every time there's a new scene, someone says, "Oh, why are you in town?"
Mm-hmm.
"Well, my grandfather died, and all he left us is this crummy old dirt farm." "Oh, you're the dirt farmer's grandkid?"
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, did you know him?" "No. No one knew
at
him."
least that served a purpose.
Well, it did, but it was like every other scene. Where like
I feel like it only happened like 3 or 4 times. And I don't think it was like also close together.
I think it only has to happen once though. Cuz like just to set up
That's fair.
like why they're there and they had to explain it to almost everyone, even just some random characters who
Mhm.
like served no point in the plot or story.
Mhm. I don't know. I feel like I'm fine with the writing. I felt like it was pretty good. I felt most of the time I really like Paul Rudd's character. We can talk about him.
Paul Rudd is amazing.
Mr. Groberson. I believe yes, Groberson. He is a summer teacher. Is how he is introduced.
Yeah, a really bad summer teacher.
Yeah, well,
all he doesn't just not do his job.
Mm-hmm.
He puts on movies, but not only just movies, rated R horror movies. Like he puts on Cujo the first night.
I feel
first
like
day.
Cujo. Well, I feel like Cujo is also just intentional as an Easter egg for.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
like-
But I think I just thought it was funny how
Yeah.
he just does not care, just because he knows these kids
Mhm.
do not care either.
But of course, Paul Rudd got another movie under his belt, which means another 10 years to his lifetime
Yes.
span. He looks the same as he did 30 years ago.
I love Paul Rudd.
He's great. He was a great part of this movie, I think.
I think he was the best part because he kept that kind of like magic and whimsy
Mm-hmm.
that you need for this type of film.
I feel like with the original Ghostbusters, it was. This is probably just a byproduct of it being a like mid 80s film. Is that it felt really like stiff or mechanical, maybe.
Oh, really?
I don't think that I enjoyed it, but it definitely felt made more for that time. Where, well, there's one scene with Ray's character.
Oh, yeah.
That I had to Google to make sure I was interpreting correctly.
Yeah.
If you
know the scene, you know the scene.
You know
yeah.
the scene.
But
none of that in the new one. Spoiler alert. Thank God. Like,
unfortunately.
there was one person at the theater who came in and like he had 2 like probably 6-year-old girls with him, and he like called for a manager, and I came out, and he said that in the trailers or the previews for the movie they showed a Scream trailer. And so he was like really skeptical about what the movie was like in terms of like, is it like meant for kids? Like, would a kid like, is it like too scary or too much? And I was like, it really isn't. I believe it's PG-13.
It is, yeah.
And because I had seen it by that point, and I told him that it like, there's really nothing bad that happens, and it's like good across the board.
Yeah, it's really tame. Like even the first Ghostbusters.
Well, are you talking about like 84?
Yeah.
Talking about that scene, I don't know if a kid. Well, I guess a kid wouldn't understand it.
Well, I was gonna say like the first Ghostbusters, they had some like good scares in it, at least for me, like especially when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, there's not many scares in it.
Yeah,
there's basically 2 ghosts, and that's another one of my problems with it. Just like with the first movie, I don't feel that it is stiff. I feel like the writing in the first movie is really strong, and it's like these 4 people coming together and like honing their skills as Ghostbusters. But in
problems, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine.
One of my problems with the first movie is that you get let me make sure I'm saying this right. You get Zedmore? Zid it's his character Winston.
Winston, yeah.
Yeah. He's also like thrown in.
He is
in the they're all like it's especially frustrating because I know I read behind the scenes that like for the advertisement process for the original Ghostbusters, they advertised it as the 3.
Yeah.
As,
do you know why that happened?
I don't know the specific reason.
Well, Winston was supposed to be played by Eddie Murphy.
Gotcha.
And so they actually had a big role for him, and then Eddie Murphy said no. So then they had to make it a lot smaller because they thought like, okay, we won't get anything. And then Ernie Hudson came in, so they're like, okay, we'll make you bigger, but we have too much like written already that we can't really make it as big as it used to be.
Right.
But even like with Winston, I feel like he was thrown in, but he did serve a purpose.
I don't know. Like it felt like his character was just neglected.
Well, he felt capable.
Yeah.
Especially in the second one, because I might be meshing both of them.
Okay, I've not seen the second one.
But like Lucky in here, she just feels thrown in for me. But also in this one, it just feels like they are doing something different, which is good. I think you should do something different. But then they also try to be kind of the exact same movie as Ghostbusters because there's going to be some light spoilers. It was in the promotional things. It has been out for a few weeks now. They bring Gozer back from the first one. Yeah. And when I realized that they were doing that, I just rolled my eyes. Because
I really granted, I had watched the movie an hour earlier. I was like, whoa, I know what's going on.
Well, for me, like, they took down Gozer in the first one. Like, they are not a threat anymore. And just do something new, especially in the trailers. Yeah. There was, I think it was the shopkeeper in the movie was saying these lines like, call it fate, call it destiny. I believe everything happens for a reason. And so my interpretation was, okay, that's going to be the bad guy. He's going to come in, like, try to release these ghosts or something. Just something different. And they just do Gozer again. And even in the second one, do you know anything about it?
I remember the Statue of Liberty vaguely.
Okay, well, the main villain is this evil, like, guy who is trapped in this painting called Vigo.
Okay, I've heard about it.
And he is so threatening. He is so different from Gozer. I guess he is, like, trying to reach the same end goal of just conquering the world. Yeah. But it just felt so different. And in this, it's like, oh no, it's Gozer again. Are you the key master? Are you the gatekeeper? Yes. Okay. Let's do it all over again. Yeah. And that just felt lazy to me. And also, like, they tried to do the thing of, oh, like, we're together, so we have to catch our first ghost now. Which, instead of Slimer, it's a Muncher.
Voiced by Josh Gad.
Yes. Which I didn't have a problem with. Yeah. But that's the only ghost they caught. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, because you did see the original sooner. But I recall them catching a lot of ghosts before going up against Gozer.
Pretty much they show their catching of... It's either slime. They show the librarian at the beginning. Yes, that's like the introduction of them all. And then I believe they catch Slimer.
And then isn't there a montage
in the whole auditorium? And then it's a montage of them but I feel the way I remember it is less of a montage of them actually like catching ghosts, more of them like walking and stuff in the fire station, and then like newspaper articles and news like stations floating across the screen.
Yeah, but that just basically like shows the viewer that, okay, they have caught a lot of ghosts now. They know what they're doing. Whereas in this one, they just barely catch Muncher.
Well, I feel like I can't say anything about like the finale of the film, but I feel like they should display that. I don't think that they are master Ghostbusters by the end of the film by any means.
I mean, I guess, but I just wish there was some more because I don't even think that they're masters. I don't think they're good because they barely catch the. Just barely catch the first ghost and then immediately go to Gozer. And like, there's no in between. They do some investigation, but McKenna Grace, Phoebe, is the only person who even uses the proton pack. and then it just goes straight to, okay, we gotta take down Gozer, and yeah, we're struggling because Gozer is like even stronger, but it just did not feel earned for me.
I personally disagree.
Okay.
It's hard because I can't explain it because that would require like talking about certain aspects of the film, but I feel like it was less of them developing the ability to like face Gozer and more of like they were given the tools necessary to face Gozer and they were taught how to use those.
Well, I didn't even feel like they were taught how to use them because Phoebe, when trying to catch Muncher, destroys the entire town doing it.
Yeah.
And then like everyone else in the final act just knows how to use these proton packs. And I'm just like, where did that come from? And I guess like I do see where you're coming from, but for me it was just like a big shock. Like, oh, we are going up against Gozer now.
Yeah. I'd say comparing it all to the 1984 Ghostbusters, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like on a like technical standpoint, you got the 84 elements that the new one used. Like, I'm not gonna say better, but like visually better for sure. You don't get like any stop motion like dog jumping across the screen.
Yeah.
It's all like AAA budget like developed film.
The dog was actually prosthetics, so there might have been some like stop motion, which I actually did like. I like how it was
in the 84.
No, in this one,
okay,
in the new one. Yeah, I feel like I am harping on this movie too much. I didn't hate it. I thought there were some really good moments, and I do like how they did do a lot of prosthetics.
Yeah.
And just as much real as they could.
Yeah. It felt like Ghostbusters in our world less than like how to describe it. It's basically with the old movie with 84, it felt more like fantasy because it doesn't look convincing, but that was just limited technologies.
Yeah.
Now we have access to those where everything like meshes a lot better.
Yeah, and see, like even I disagree with that. But I think that's just because I watched it at a very young age, so it did look real to me.
Yeah.
And so I bought that, like, this is in the world. Whereas with this, like, it is, like you say, it does, it's all so convincing. The CGI, it's really good. All the visuals are really good.
On the topic of, like, reviews and general reception, any, like, movie critic or, like, reviewer or stuff like that, the tomato meter has it at 63%. The Metascore is 45, and then IMDb is like a mix, so I'm not going to say that yet. But then the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 95%.
Yeah, there's a big divide right there.
Metacritic is 8.3, and then IMDb is around the middle with like I believe that's a 7.7. Yeah, and so it's definitely. By the critics did not receive it well, but I feel like most of the audience are just they're enjoying a new Ghostbusters film. Like it's nice to
they're having a good ride.
A new experience with Ghostbusters that isn't like obviously we will not talk about the I've not seen it, which is why I'm not going to talk about
the 2016
the Melissa McCarthy one.
I actually really like that one. I like that more than this.
Really?
Well, for me, it's because they knew what they were doing. And in this one, they were trying to do so much at once. Like, they're trying to be a big homage to the original. They're trying to be this family drama. They're trying to be this comedy. They're trying to be this coming-of-age film. And it's so much. At one point, they want to have big drama. At other points, they want to have comedy, which you can have. But in this, it just didn't feel like it meshed well together a lot.
I've not seen the movie, so I can't say much.
Yeah,
on
the
that.
2016 one, it's just this fun like comedy.
Not received well, because of the like pretty much or from like the cast, and I heard like a lot of it's forced. I don't know humor, but
I mean, yeah, maybe some of it, but I remember just having a good time with it. I remember laughing a lot. I really like Paul Feig as a director, so I thought he did a good job. And then Melissa McCarthy, I forgot her first name, but Wig, Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig. I thought they all did a great job. Chris Hemsworth was really funny too, just as this bumbling idiot of a secretary. And it felt like they were trying to do something different while also paying homage, and it worked. Whereas this, they wanted to be different, but they also wanted to be the exact same.
Well, I feel like I don't think they wanted to be different. They wanted to build on what already existed and then create opportunity for more. Because I feel like speaking for myself, I'm not very familiar with Ghostbusters. And so creating this movie as like it is pretty much the story of the original Ghostbusters, but in a modern lens, you create this whole new generation of fans with like similar material, and then they'll go back and watch the original one, and then get excited for whatever comes next. Yeah, I feel like this movie may not have been great, and there's like a lot of potential that they either missed on or they did too much on.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they create a sequel, which I'm like. I would bet that they will.
Oh yeah, I think they're
doing great.
Yeah, and I'm down for a sequel. I would be there day one for a sequel, just because I think they are learning of what to do and what not to do.
I feel like it would having them already together as Ghostbusters and giving them reason to like develop. Like now you have all this room. You don't have to tell backstories. You don't have to give lore, and it's all built already.
Yeah. It was a little weird how none of the kids knew of the original Ghostbusters.
And that was surprising to me too.
Well, for me, like in the second one, they do that where everyone just forgets about the Ghostbusters or just doesn't care. And I buy that a little bit more just because it basically like Stay Puft just it was like, oh, it's a marketing stunt. Don't worry, guys. There's like no ghosts or anything. And so I buy that, and they have this one like really funny scene I quote it all the time where they basically deduce themselves to being at kids' birthday parties and being performers there because they can't get any work. So they're doing the song, which I don't know if we can do it, but like if there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? And obviously it's Ghostbusters, but all the kids go He-Man, and they just care about He-Man. I quote that all the time. I love that. But then in that movie, the Statue of Liberty moves. Like, it becomes a full person. And I don't know how you can explain that away.
I don't know.
Like, I know of things that happened in the 80s. I know of things that happened in, like, the 70s. And
it's definitely, like, I agree that it felt weird. Or I haven't seen the second one, but I saw the first, and it's, like, how, or at least Finn Wolfhard's character, or Trevor, thinks that he says that it's, like, I thought that was a myth.
Yeah, that, I'm like, okay, I guess.
Like, there's footage.
But especially Podcast, who says, I am obsessed with paranormal, then he would know who the Ghostbusters are because he'd be all about that. He'd be trying to replicate them, if anything.
That was definitely just a missed, like, it felt weird.
Yeah, that's why I loved Paul Rudd's character, because he did know of the Ghostbusters, and so he was like, this is like so cool.
He was a Ghostbusters fan.
Yeah, he was. And also the scene, he was so stupid, and I loved it when they find a trap, and immediately they try to open it, and like the kids are just being so stupid, and then Paul Rudd sees it, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's real! Let's open it!" Yeah, and so they open it, and like I just thought that was funny. But then when they do open it, there's like, whoa, and it's this like giant like monster ghost, and he's like, roar, and it's
that was a really good impression, guys.
Thank you. And he just like runs off in the distance, and like you're like, oh my god, this is like a big threat. And you know what they do? They're like, okay, anyway. Paul Rudd goes on a date. He's like, it's fine.
Well, Paul Rudd's like, we should leave because he should. It shattered all the windows. They were by the buses, and then it also shattered the windscreen on his car. Yeah, which also gets a callback later, like implemented later, which I thought was funny.
But it's just like they don't care, which. I don't know, I didn't really like that because that also felt lazy. Because if that happened to me, I'd be like, oh my god, like we have to at least tell someone, if not stop this. But they're like, whatever. Let's go on with our day.
Yeah, it's there were some beats that could have been better. Yes. I'd still say solid there. Well, on the note of Paul Rudd, there is another Baskin Robbins plug. Like
there is
a slightly less obvious one, but still like I don't know what it is with Paul Rudd and Baskin
I didn't even
Robbins.
make that connection.
Yeah. So for the Marvel fans again, that's fun. We have This is for people who've seen the movie. I can't really like get into it, but J.K. Simmons is also in it for like a split second.
I hated that.
Um,
I honestly hated that because
Yeah.
that also just came out of nowhere. I was like,
Yeah.
hold on, is that J.K. Simmons?
I had to look it up afterwards. and
This is the most random cameo.
Yeah.
And then she's gone.
Yeah.
The way he leaves, I laughed a lot
Yeah,
at.
he was just there for like a split second.
I thought it was split. I thought that was really funny.
It's I don't understand that. Was that the painting guy?
No,
Okay.
that was the architect of like the building in the original who like
Okay.
planned it all out for Gozer to come.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You're telling me this. Like I'm supposed to be the researcher here.
Yeah, Ivo Shandor.
Okay. Gotcha. Weird.
Yeah.
I'm also with this movie they for light spoilers they the way they describe like how they explain Gozer coming back is almost this like It Chapter 2 kind of deal where it's like every blank amount of years like there's a disaster that is Gozer's attempt to come back into the world, and so the last one's 1984, and then there's like ancient carving on the rock since 2021, and it's like are we gonna have to wait another 20 years? Like they're gonna like get 5 movies out and then they're gonna have another Gozer return.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, like they could have done maybe something like that happens every 20 years, but it could be like a Thanos thing where he sends every 20 years he sends someone like Loki and then he sends someone else.
Right.
So it's still like similar, but it's not Gozer where it's another threat who could be bigger.
Yeah.
But in this is just Gozer who's stronger.
Absolutely. Let's see. We can also talk the director. We talked about briefly of the 2016 one. The director for this is Jason Reitman, who's the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first. I believe was he both the director for 1 and 2?
Yeah, 1 and 2. I really like Jason Reitman.
Yeah.
I loved Up in the Air. I haven't seen all of his stuff, but especially Up in the Air and Tully. I think those are the only 2 I've seen of his. But Up in the Air, I think it's great.
Yeah.
You can definitely see his style come through it here because it's. Have you seen any of his movies?
I have not.
Well, it's just a lot of like dramedy, a lot of like conversations, talking, and there is a lot of that here.
Yeah.
I don't think it works quite as well as it does in the other movies, but I do think it does work for the most part.
Yeah. I also want to note how this movie has end credit scenes. I'm not going to talk about what are in them.
I missed the second one.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it up and like I saw like the first one, but I did not know about the second one.
Yeah, all the way at the end because I feel like MCU has definitely gotten that craze going of especially for it's mostly family like films.
Yeah.
Where everybody comes out and they're like, okay, we gotta wait, we gotta watch the credits, and then this one did deliver as well. So if you see it, make sure you stay until the end. Unless you're seeing the last show, then I'd appreciate if you just left and looked it up.
I will say, I did like the first post-credit scene. I can't say about the second.
Yeah.
But, I thought for the most part, it was all right. It was good. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, which for me is still good. Yeah. It's just I was hoping for more.
I'd probably give it a 7.
Okay, so we're similar.
Yeah, it's 7, if not like a 7.5, just a little above it. Not like definitely not like a terrible film. I really enjoyed watching it, and I've encouraged people who have asked me about it to watch it. But like, this is a fun film.
Yeah, I do think it's worth a watch.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add? I probably have some more facts on here if you want. But,
yeah, hit me.
Let's see. Anthony doesn't like cane sauce.
Yeah.
Not related to Ghostbusters, but we're gonna talk about it. Explain yourself.
I don't know. It's just.
Have you had Guthrie's?
No, I've never had that.
Okay, it's canes, but like not.
Oh well, I mean, I don't think it's horrible. Like this, it's not horrible, but it's not great.
That's.
Do you have any Ghostbusters
he was willing to
facts?
give me his canes sauce, which was shocking. Well, for the movie also, this was another one of the post-COVID ones, where it got delayed.
Yes.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 times until we got us. The first, it was supposed to release July 10th, 2020. That was the original release. I remember at the theater we were talking about how we were going to get the backpack.
Oh
vacuums,
yeah,
and then
vacuums.
put,
I remember
like,
that. Yeah, because
Ghostbusters
we both
stickers
worked
and
at the
stuff.
theater, and we always did these like fun activities
Yeah.
for movies.
Which would have been awesome. We didn't because we don't really have the manpower for that right now. But otherwise, it was July 10th, and it was moved to March 5th, 2021.
2 days after my birthday, I was so excited for that.
My poster or my theater was not even open then.
Nope.
They had opened again, and then they were reclosed. So that's how it goes. And then I couldn't find a date for this one. It's probably somewhere, but it just said a teased summer release. Which didn't happen, and then it was shifted to Thanksgiving weekend. We opened on Wednesday, right before.
Yeah,
Tuesday technically, but yeah. I mean, do you wanna? We're about to wrap up here. We only got a couple minutes left. You wanna talk about anything else?
sure. Yeah. So next week we are reviewing
Yes.
Encanto.
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda has so many projects going on.
He always does.
I think I looked, and he has like 9 alone this year.
He's terrifying. Like,
He
just
is.
a
He's
little
a force to be reckoned with. But yeah.
bit.
Wait, no, I can do that better. Yeah.
All right. Well,
But,
the show's canceled. He is copyright. Lynn is reaching out to us right now.
You can find us on Instagram.
Yes.
For the next few minutes until Lynn finds us. We are
He's
at.
on his way.
Oh, there's a knock at the door.
What? Oh,
That's
okay,
him.
so we gotta wrap this up.
So we are at That's a Wrap NCR.
Yes.
You can find us on Instagram. Our podcasts are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Yes. Stitcher. I believe that's it.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, NorseCodeRadio.com.
Yeah, NorseCodeRadio.com.
is where we're archived.
Already, if you're listening live, then you know that.
Yes.
We are live.
Yes.
Just like we said. Wednesdays at 4.
All right. Well, I hope you all have a great week. Until next Wednesday at 4.
Yeah, that's a wrap.